www.unityandrebuildingfund.com. That's www.unityandrebuildingfund.com. We need to work together and rebuild the city, and we're actually doing it. Online donations and click on links to track the progress of the Unity and Rebuilding Fund. And for more information, 313-868-0000.
By Beach. We offer versatile keepsake items that your recipient will all of their other beautiful and treasured items. We also offer holiday cards. With Designs by Beach, no holiday will go unnoticed. Our unique greeting cards are sure to celebrate all holidays. We also have cards for special occasions. We are your one for unique and three-dimensional handmade greeting cards for all occasions. Specializing, we also take custom orders. Every card is crafted with care and with love. So call by Beach today at 601-451-9536 or visit our website www.designsbybeach.com.
WGPR Detroit HD2. You're watching WHPS, Highland Park, Detroit. FM 88.1 WHPS. Sponsors. Brothers and sisters, are you tired of reading the Holy Scripture?
Conference recording
really
started. Conference recording started.
If you know with someone that has a difference in your home, then let's talk with one another. Then let's reason with one another. With the Son of Man every Wednesday at 9 p.m., Friday at 9 p.m., and Sunday at 12 noon on WHP. Detroit Live, 88.1 FM, WHPR, and Comcast Cable. Why don't you call and discuss the Holy Bible? And if you Quran and come to an agreement about the Holy Scriptures and their 3-868-0 4336-313-03. Go live with a scriptural discussion with the Son of Man.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, the Truthful, and the Most Just.
All participants are muted, and they can unmute themselves.
I greet all of you who are hungry and thirsty for the true understanding of Allah's Word. I greet you all with the greeting words of peace. May Allah's Salam Alaikum. I want to give those who may have a disagreement with us, and with me in particular, I want to give you the opportunity at this time to express it and discuss it with me. So you can press 5* on your phone, and your hand will go up and the brother will unmute you. Or you can press *6 if you are in the 712 conference room, and that will unmute you, and you can put forth your disagreement or your facts that may, at least that you deem to be facts, to disprove something that you think I have said. I know many people listen in, they heard me offer them $50,000 if they could prove that I'm not teaching the truth. And so it don't surprise me that people try to prove me wrong. But, also for that kind of money, it gets people to listen. And even if they're listening for for the wrong reason, at least they listening. So if you wanna find a lie, the best thing to do is just listen for the truth. And a lie will manifest itself to you. So, we have anybody have questions or whatnot before I get started into a subject? I hope all of the governors are listening to me, especially you governors who have reopened your state, because I know what that's about. I mean, you notice the Donald Trump, he said this about he wants people to stop supporting the rhinos in Congress, in the House of Representatives and in the Senate. They got an old saying of hiding in plain sight. Everything that you hear, just like when Donald Trump was telling people that if he lost, it would be fraud. It would, the election would be fraud. Everything that he was accusing other people of was actually what his guilt was. He was the one committing fraud on him and this DeJoy fellow with the mail and all of that. And he even at the last minute changed people at the Pentagon and all of that, because he knew what they was planning on doing on January the 6th. That's why he said it will be wild. It was all the plan that they wanted to some kind of way make things so wild that he would be able to step up as the problem solver and say, well, I'm going to have to declare martial law. Especially if they had succeeded in killing the vice president and succeeded in killing Nancy Pelosi and succeeded in taking hostages, then it would have been a need for martial law, right? So I'm gonna tell you something else. One of the quickest way to make people forget about a terrible thing that happened is one of the quickest ways to get ignorant people, to get gullible people to take their mind off of a terrible thing is to, if you can, just change the subject. Like with a child, a child can be upset about something and you talk to him for a little while and then you may say, hey, let's go get some ice cream. Let's go get some this. Let's go do some that. And you want to go do that? And you take his mind right off of that. You understand? Now, we have, and when I say we, I'm talking about United States citizens. We have lost approximately 530 31,000 American citizens in less than a year. Well, it's just, that's, it's actually this, a little over a year. And it's all the fault on a man that we knew wasn't qualified to be president when we put him in that office. Some people were saying, I'm going to hold my nose and vote for him, which tells you they knew he didn't have no business being president. Now, his being installed in that office caused the death of over 531,000 of Americans. And now the plan is to make you quickly forget about it by pretending that the thing that caused their death is all gone now, when it's not all gone. The scientific community has told you, even though a vaccine is here, that we are not out of danger with this virus because it keeps mutating. These people are so drunk and addicted to power that they will do anything, including sacrifice more American lives, just to push a lie and to make you think that you are safe now when you are not. Now, I'm going to tell you something. In the end, you know what they're going to say? When the death toll is finally taken, their excuse will be, well, it's what the majority of the people wanted. And the scientists, I'm not a scientist. They knew I was not a scientist. I was just giving them what they wanted. I didn't force anyone to take off a mask. I didn't force them to open up their businesses. I just told them if they wanted to do it, they could. Huh? It's like people, you act like you need something more. I mean, if the scientists tell us that we need to keep wearing masks, and then a non-scientist, I don't care what his office is. Is that the way you do? And if the doctor tells you you got cancer, you go up there and ask the governor, or you go ask the mayor, or you go ask the congressman or the senator, hey, do you think I should go have this? The doctor say I should have surgery. What you think? Do you go ask him? Why are you listening to all of these people who know nothing about virology, as though you don't? I can't believe so many people are so stupid. Even though I knew it was coming, I'm not going to say I knew how it was coming, but I knew it was coming. Because you want to keep doing evil in the day where you were told to stop. And Allah revealed to me that you were going to be put to death. And now look at you. Do you realize what it makes you look like for a scientist to be warning you not to let your guard down, keep wearing masks, keep your distance, and all of these things? And you talking about the governor done open things back up. So the governor ain't no scientist. just like with me. I've told you I'm the Son of Man. Okay, you got anybody else telling you they the Son of Man? I'm opening up the scriptures and giving you understanding of them. Who else is doing that? But yet, you're still following all of these quacks. Why? They shall heap to themselves teachers having itching ears. They shall turn away their ears from the truth and heap to themselves teachers having itching ears. Huh? Look at you. You will go and turn to Fox News or some of these people, and they done told you. Like that, then when they denied Tucker Carlson and say, you know, well, don't nobody believe Tucker Carlson is telling the truth. When he got sued for lying, being truthful, everybody know he's just spinning things. Huh? But they let him be out there spinning things like that and calling it news. The very ones who was calling and crying out about fake news was the ones that was presenting fake news to you. Have you stopped and thought about what 530,000 deaths in a year really is? Have you thought about that? That's not all the deaths that took place. That's the deaths from a disease, from this pandemic. Well, you know, I saw something today on the news when I turned it on. Well, right before I got into this meeting. And I think I'm going to let you watch and listen to what I heard and thought was the right thing to do. You know, if you've ever sit down and watched a movie and you really got involved in it. Now, you knew the movie was not nothing but an act. But when something happened to the character, one of the main characters or whatnot, you remember when some of you that's not into sci-fi, but you all who are into sci-fi, you remember when Tony Stark died? And your heart sunk? Huh? You were proud of him, and at the same time, you were grieved on how could they let Tony die? Huh? Because don't nobody want to, I mean, he the star, he ain't supposed to die, right? And the reason that you had real feelings that empathy, when you felt a sense of loss. That was because your attention, and for a little while, you forgot that that wasn't real. And you became a part of what was happening. That's what empathy is to be able to feel for others, to feel the pain of others, to feel the loss that someone else feels. And the only way you can do that is you have to give them your attention. And if you do that, you won't have to fake it. As you let them tell you what happened, as you are drawn into their conversation and drawn into them sharing with you how they feel, if you just give them your attention, you will feel what they feel. We as human beings have that ability. That shows the true nature of who we are and what we are. That we all originated from one. So we are all a part of each other. It's just like the other night before I cast that boy in the hell that I thought, from the UK, I was very anxious to talk with him. Just to find out he's nothing but a bigot, a racist bigot. And he didn't really want to talk to me. He just wanted to disrupt our class. The things we asked him to do, he wasn't doing. He didn't turn his computer down. He didn't do nothing to try to really get over. He did what the Holy Quran says. They say, make noise therein. Perhaps we will overcome. Huh? When you are speaking and someone makes noise and you're trying to get a point over to people, when people who don't want to see you share what you are sharing with people, they will try to distract and make noise and get you to change the subject and get you to even get you upset or whatnot. But now he's in hell. And he didn't believe it when I first said it. Give him time. And he sentenced them for contempt. He may give them 90 days for contempt. They may act like they don't care. That don't mean nothing for a while. You remember that woman that I showed you on there that the judge gave her 90 days for contempt? And she came back the next day crying? Huh? Then apologizing, and the judge saw that she was truly contrite. And the judge said, okay, well, but the courtroom is no place to play the game you was playing. And so she, it get real to you. Now, even though I may not have reached him, when people that he was showing off of, when they see his life take a turn, When they see him doing things and saying things that don't make no sense, they're going to remember that the Son of Man threw him in hell. Now look at him. Huh? Yeah. So, everything that I do it because that's what I'm supposed to do. Allah said, cast into hell every ungrateful, rebellious one. Didn't I stop my meeting to entertain his thoughts? And I tried, you saw me try to talk with him. Huh? I didn't know what he wanted, but I was sure not going to turn away. He wanted to talk to me. I wanted to talk with him. That didn't mean nothing to him, the respect that I was showing him. He called way from the United Kingdom to disrespect me here in America because my skin is black. Huh? Yeah. Now we done found out that they got problems in the royal, what they call the royal family. Huh? Yeah. So, I mean, you just can't hide what's in your heart no more. Everybody got to manifest what's in them. So you can be paid in full. I hear people all the time acting like Prophet Muhammad or Jesus or Moses or them, like he loved y'all. No, he didn't. The prophets loved God, and they loved me. You know what they said to me? They said, how long, Lord? You are holy and true. How long shall you not judge and avenge our blood on these people? Do that sound like somebody that want to do something for you? No, so I'm the only friend you got. Because I know things that they didn't know. So I have to keep the promise that was made, that there would be a curse on you until the day of judgment. You were cursed with misunderstanding. You were cursed with a natural mind that could not perceive spiritual things. So now I'm bringing judgment to the jinn. As the book said, and he shall bring forth judgment unto the Gentile. If I had not come and spoken unto them, if I had not brought them the understanding, they would not have been blamable for the sins they did. But now they don't have no cloak. Huh? They have both seen and hated me and my Father, the truth that I've shared with them. And some people, white people, they done got to the point where they don't care what color my skin is. they done got past that because they say the friend of my friend is my friend. Huh? But if Allah is their friend, Allah is the truth. If they love the truth, then naturally They ain't gonna have no problem with me, because all I'm doing is telling the truth and proving it as I'm telling it. So I'm ain't nobody saying nothing, brother?
No, sir.
Okay, so I want all of you to pay attention. Use the knowledge that I share with you to make yourself a better person. Let me say that again. Use the knowledge that I share with you to make yourself into a better person. It is thought that makes us what we are. Flesh only determined what you physically look like as a temple. Thought determines your nature. Thought determines your righteousness or your wickedness. That's your nature. When we said that the white man is the devil by nature, let me complete that statement for you. He's the devil by the nature of the knowledge that we put in him. Do you understand? As the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, he said, don't blame them for what by nature you put in him. Blame yourself for putting it in him. Huh? Yeah. Being the devil is like being a wino. You wasn't born no wino. You was reborn a wino. Do you understand? You was born a baby boy or a baby girl. And then you got with people who drank a lot and got you to practicing that until pretty soon you became what you practiced based on what you learned and based on what you was thinking. And so you was reborn into wino. Well, so we made the devil. We made him that. He didn't have no choice in that. He has a choice now to stay that or change. And I'm giving him that choice. And it's up to him. And I'm giving that because I'm giving that choice to everybody. That's justice. I mean, he made us black devils, grafted devils. He took the mind that we put in him and he transferred the worst of what he had into us. That's a graft. You know, when you take skin from one part of somebody's body or your own body and put it on another part, then that's called a skin graft. When you take a mind from one person and put it to another one, then that's a spiritual graft. You see, the first thing he had to do was empty us out. And that's where slavery came in and breeding us and then taking the children and raising us up without the knowledge of ourselves. Then after he succeeded at that, then he began to teach us only what he wanted us to know. And so we became worshipers of white people. We became servants of theirs. And that's what the past 400 years of our existence made us. And we were afflicted in our brain with a mind that hates us. We are a people who hate ourselves. You see, that's why you notice I don't have to go to white people. I talk to black people. And black people hate me because I'm standing up here telling the truth. Because you have a white man's mind, which is a black man's mind that we put in white people. Do you understand? So, it's just like if you want to compare it to something, it's kind of like when that Seville Cadillac first came out, they put that 283, I think it was the 283, the Chevy motor in it, and somebody found out and said, no. In essence, all they did was sold you a Chevy under another name, because that was a Chevy motor they put in that Seville, and they got in trouble for it. Well, likewise, the mind that we have had has been white people. We made them that. And then they got a hold to us and afflicted us with it. Do you understand? You notice he ain't saying nothing. He hear me. What he gonna say? I can ask him, did you make yourself? Or did we make you? So, I'm a person who thinks before he speaks. Why you think you can't come up with no argument against what I say? If I couldn't come up with one against what I say, and my mind is greater than the mind that's in you, I know you can't come up with one. It's just like me. I used to, when people would tell me something or try to get me to dislike white people or whatnot, they said, "I'm old low down white." I said, "Look, man, I don't want to hear that." I said, "Now this is. If you cut him, his blood is red, just like yours and mine. Everybody, they're talking about black and white. Well, you cut us, all of our blood is red." And I thought that was the good argument, the best argument. Then I came up with an argument against that. When I accepted Islam and started growing, said, well, if you cut a pig, his blood is red too. A dog, a horse. Well, I'm got red blood. Is they your brother too? So I said, I can't say that no more. Do you understand? So there's much to be learned. And so I had to adopt Jesus's argument. Where Jesus said, when they told him his mother and his brothers was out there wanting to speak with him, and Jesus looked at them and looked at the people that were sitting there listening to him and said, who is my mother? And who are my brothers? He said, whosoever doeth the will of my Father, whosoever doeth the will of God, the same as my mother and my brother and my sister. Now that's an argument that I just can't get around that. So I hold on to that. My family is those that do the will of God. That's my real family. And if it offends anybody that's in my biological family that I said that, well, that's just tough. you better check yourself. Blood ain't no thicker than you talking about blood thicker. Well, that, you know what they mean by that? I care more about my physical blood family than not me. Blood ain't thicker than water. Blood is water with stuff in it. Huh? And without water, ain't no blood. So, I'd like to see you make some blood without water. So which is more important? The water or the stuff that you put in it? Without the water, the stuff don't mean nothing. Huh? So, the word of God is living water. And without the word of God, there is no life. There's just existence. And existing is not living. So I want to give us all time to pause and think and to feel for our neighbors.
From us Americans of every age, gender, and race. Ultimately, it would exact a far greater toll on communities of color, but no group of Americans has been spared. Hi, everyone. I'm Nicole Wallace. Over the past year, we've been honored to share with you the stories of some of those we have lost. Their stories were all so beautifully unique, but they were united by two undeniable truths. They all ended too soon, and they each left behind an entire family or community for whom life would never be the same. For so many, the loss is exacerbated by how our loved ones died. In many cases alone, or in the company of a devoted but exhausted nurse or doctor. Many families have had to say goodbye forever on an iPad or a cell phone. The past year has been nothing short of a sweeping and historic American tragedy. So in a humble effort to honor those losses, tonight we celebrate the lives of those we have lost and the families left behind. NBC's Chris Jansing, who bravely shared the loss of her own Aunt Margie to COVID, starts us off.
Have a very, very bright Friday. Bonnie McLeod would laugh if you called her a model, but here she is at Christmas, modeling her handmade lighted mask. Early in the pandemic, Bonnie started selling masks to give away, making 3,000 in all. A simple mission to protect others. But in the end, Bonnie could not protect herself.
I don't know that I've ever met anybody that did my Bonnie. I mean, she's just that kind of person. She wasn't done doing her mission, I guess. You know, but somebody else felt it was time for it. One thing that was so bittersweet is I got my vaccination on Sunday, and Bonnie should have been with me. That was the hardest part, I think, because she was this close, 5 weeks away from getting vaccinated.
It's the devastating reality of COVID-19. The funerals, yet the goodbyes never said. The human touch never felt as victims passed from this world, including Susan Braley, mother to 7 adopted children, 300 foster kids. her Florida home filled with love and laughter and life, but in death, without any of that family by her side. Caitlin Dillard never got to hold her newborn baby Morgan, dying of COVID soon after giving birth. By late March, 1,000 Americans would be gone. By May, 100,000, many of them healthcare workers, especially nurses and people of color. Frida Okren, a psychiatric nurse and mother of 3, was only 51. Dr. Nira Bhutani worked in a Texas pediatric clinic. She was just a month away from getting vaccinated. Dr. Adeline Fagan, just starting out at 28.
She's just a really happy-go-lucky person.
ER Dr. Frank Gabrin died after texting about worries over a lack of PPE. Victims on the front lines of an escalating war. 250,000 Americans gone by November, including veterans who had survived foreign wars, only to lose to the enemy, like Tuskegee Airman Theodore Ted Lumpkin, who stayed active until coronavirus hit, then died just shy of his 101st birthday. Rabbi Romy Cohn was a Holocaust survivor who saved 56 families' lives, but coronavirus took him at 91. To endure such grief, perhaps we rationalize, but they were old, but they had pre-existing conditions. In truth, but for COVID, they'd likely still be with us. To teach, to rescue dogs, simply to love. Dick and Shirley Meek of Ohio had just celebrated their 70th wedding anniversary when they died minutes apart. Margaret and Jimmy Shaw grew up together in Georgia, eloped at 17, and stayed together for 6 decades. Music lovers Johnny Lee and Kathy Darlene Peoples of North Carolina, together since they were teenagers, died on the same day in the same ICU room, holding hands. And so much promise cut short.
I know he's watching over us now. I know he's probably dancing in heaven.
Towering baritone Antoine Hodge, achieving a career milestone on the Metropolitan Opera stage in September. In February, his extraordinary voice was silenced.
He was my best friend, and it's still hard for me to accept the reality that he won't be back.
What would you want people to know about Antoine?
That he was a pure, kind soul.
Antoine was just 38. We've learned the hard way that COVID doesn't spare the young, or even the very young. Kimmy Lynam had been a healthy, happy 9-year-old. 5-year-old Skylar Herbert was the only child of 2 first responders.
He missed everything about her.
9-year-old J.J. Boatman was running around playing one morning. By the next day, he was gone. Dory Ellis Reyes Paul was about to start 4th grade. And 13-year-old Peyton Baumgart from Missouri, his mom's little buddy.
He was kind, he was funny, he was a jokester.
How do you even begin to process this kind of loss? Another 13-year-old named Madeline Fugate started a memorial quilt, one square made with a piece of Anna Carter's dress, who was 13 too when she was taken by COVID. In California, Carla Thunderbrook began folding origami cranes as a kind of therapy. Thousands of them now suspended on copper wires.
The origami crane is the symbol of carrying the soul into the heavens. These are representing the people we've lost, and they're flying together. So they are not alone, and we are not alone.
And in the community garden in Phoenix, out of all this death comes life in the form of newly planted trees, providing a place to mourn, to contemplate, and yes, celebrate lives well lived, like these.
They will all your names start true and you live happily ever after.
Bonnie McLeod leaves 5 adoring grandchildren. To honor her memory, 16-year-old Allie is still making masks, just like her Nana taught her. What do you miss about her most?
Our hugs and just time together. Whenever we hang out, it'd just be our time. I look back now and I think of everything we got to do in the last months. And because of the mask, we were together. And I would have been so busy doing other things. Instead, we got to be here with each other.
A shared legacy woven of cloth and thread and love. Those masks are such a beautiful way for Allie to remember her grandmother. And these cranes, Harley started making them, but then she got thousands of them from a teacher in North Dakota, senior citizens in Ohio, Buddhist monks in Tibet. It's such a powerful visual reminder of the enormity of what we've lost, but also of people's desire to come together to deal with that staggering loss. If there was one crane for every American who died of COVID, it would fill this space 42 times. And we don't have a handbook for how to deal with the enormity of that. So whether it's making a crane or making a mask or planting a tree or just telling a story, it's important, Nicole. It's a way for people to move forward. It's a way for them to have hope and to feel that they're not alone.
Christianity, thank you. It was wholly inadequate. Bless you. That was incredible. Thank you so much for being a part of this with us and with me. I'm grateful.
Thank you.
This past year, we've learned a lot about the power of human connection, both the isolation when we're forced to go without it and the importance of reestablishing connections through whatever means possible when we're hurting. One of the worst experiences of the last year has been endured by those who have experienced the loss of a loved one and have had to grieve in the time of lockdowns. Martin Addison, he was living his dream of being a loving dad to his 2-year-old daughter and 6-month-old son when he lost his month-long battle with COVID in April. His wife, Pamela, remembers the laughter, remembers Martin singing to their kids, his silly pun competitions, all the little things he did to make her and them feel special. Inspired by a sympathy card she received from another mom, Pamela decided to create a Facebook support group, Young Widows and Widowers of COVID-19, now about 450 strong. The group offers healing, a place for grief and remembrance, and the comfort that someone is always there. Pamela's efforts touched Laura Guerra when it was her time to grieve. Laura says she felt instant loneliness when her husband, Rodrigo, died from COVID on Christmas Eve at just 33 years old. Their daughter had just turned 1 days before. The group has given Laura support and advice. They've checked up on her frequently, and they helped her realize that it's okay sometimes to not be okay. Pamela Addison and Laura Guerra join us now. Pamela, tell me about before the loss. Tell me about your husband as a father and husband.
He was just so full of life and had such a presence to him that I just truly missed. Like you saw in that video, him rocking his 2 kids. That was his row your boat, and he just loved doing that. And the laughter that he elicited from my daughter is just, it's empty now because he doesn't do that anymore. And just seeing that smile on his face that lit up his eyes because he was just living his dream. He just loved being a daddy. He loved being a husband. He would just do anything and everything for all of us. And I just totally missed that. He just brought laughter and fun into our lives, and it's definitely missing in our life now.
How are you?
I mean, I still have my good and bad days. It's quite the loss. I never expected to be a widow at 36, and just going through trying to figure out life and the new me, because it definitely has changed my life drastically. So I feel like I have my good days and my bad days, and creating this group definitely has given me a lot of joy and hope because I know I'm helping others go through and get through this.
So where did you find that in your darkest time to dig down and create something to help others? Where does that come from?
I was doing a lot of writing, and one of my pieces got published on newjersey.com, and I decided I would share it with other people because I wanted my story to be told, because I wasn't hearing a lot about younger people dying, and because my husband was young, I thought, you know what, I want to share my story. And once I posted it onto several different COVID groups on Facebook, I couldn't believe how many comments I got that said, oh my goodness, that was my story. I thought I was alone. So a week after I did that, I decided I would start this group because I did not think it was okay for someone to feel alone like that.
And Laura, that spoke to you, and your husband Rico was young too. Tell us about him.
He was my gentle giant. He was a caring and loving man. Since the day I met him, he just had a great personality, and everyone just gravitated to him. He was funny, sarcastic. He loved spending time with his family and friends. He had this just large, beautiful smile, and he always made sure to tell everyone how much he loved them at all times. He was just excited to be a father. He had 11 beautiful months with his daughter, and he just loved singing to her and making funny noises, and just was just so eager to teach her so many beautiful things.
How's she doing?
She's a ball of joy. She's so much like him, loving, caring. Everyone gravitates towards her. I'm hanging in there. I'm trying every day.
You both have talked about you were watching through a window. You, Pamela, mouthed "I love you" before your husband got in an ambulance. Can I ask you both just to talk about being unable to say goodbye, Laura?
That moment was probably the hardest experience of my life. Watching from a window outside of the room, thankfully I had that opportunity to go to the hospital. But watching and feeling that utter hopelessness and helplessness, I couldn't do anything to save him. The doctors couldn't do anything anymore. And I just remember just tapping and hitting the window saying, I'm sorry they couldn't do anything.
Pamela, this is this dark underbelly of grief, these last moments, and you both so bravely shared them. It's what unites your group of 450 and growing. But you two had, you had this final moment that you've shared too, where you mouthed "I love you."
Yeah, when he was coming down the steps of our house, I was holding our son, and I just mouthed "I love you," not thinking that that was going to be the last time I saw him ever again. But I'm glad I have that moment because I did see him, but for 26 days, I didn't get to go to the hospital and hold his hand, and that's all I wanted to do. And I feel like that stolen goodbye is going to stick with me for the rest of my life because I wasn't there for him in his last moments.
Pamela, where in the process and in the sharing of the grief, where can people lift you up? What can people do? People want to help. What can people do?
I feel like listen to us talk about what we're feeling. I know grief sometimes makes people uncomfortable, but we need someone just to listen and be there for us. And I feel like that's the most valuable thing. And not judging our grief and saying, oh, I think you should be moving on, but just listening and just not being judgmental.
Well, I think any opinions are squarely of both of you as heroes. And I want to ask you the same question. I mean, what part of this, Laura, can people on the outside do who can't imagine or fathom your grief? I mean, how can people sit with you? What can people do?
It's a hard thing to answer because sometimes I just recognize that I have to get through every day. And I think the biggest thing people did for me was to help me without asking me, can I help you? They just did it. And It took a lot out of me to let others in and let others help. And like Pamela mentioned, listening without judging, listening without making it about you, sometimes it's been really helpful. I am in awe of you both. I am so sorry for your loss, and I'm so grateful to both of you for letting all of us in. It takes extraordinary courage, and I thank you both for it. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you both so much. We're going to remember all of our stories and everyone that we get to talk to, and I hope it's clear that they take a real leap of faith by spending time with us. We're grateful to all of them. On the other side of a quick break, we're going to be joined by Senator Elizabeth Warren, who will talk about her personal loss, as well as her hope for the future.
You know, as you look at all of the people who have lost loved ones, I mean, how can you look at your family and knowing how much you care about yours? How can you look at somebody else losing their son, their daughter, their husband, their wife, their mother, their father? How can you tune that out? And what does that say about you? All of us need to be looking at that and listening to it. And then you walk around here, you won't put a mask on. The only thing I can say is that the devil has gained the mastery over you. I don't want to be the cause of anyone's death. The scripture says, to him that is joined to all the living, there is hope. Hope of what? I mean, I keep thinking about the scripture that says the last enemy that shall be destroyed is death. For all my life, I have, from time to time thought about death. When I went to funerals and all of that kind of thing, and how senseless it was to me. I mean, I was thinking, why? I mean, they tell us that our cells, they regenerate. We give off old ones and new ones take their place. And it just don't make sense. It never made sense to me. Why people, as they age, since our cells are supposedly regenerating, why we always wrinkle up and grow old and pass out and die? And I don't care how many people claim to know so much. You ask them, how did we get here? I mean, death is actually matter cannot hold a particular form, and so the form disintegrates, and that same material that couldn't hold that form deserts that form and becomes part of a new form, whether it's a tree, a grass, a cow, a horse, or whatever. And the scripture is the first thing, the word of God is the first thing that gave us any kind of semblance of an answer as to why we died. The wages of sin. Wages is payment for work done. The wages of sin is death. We die because we don't know how not to. And so we transgress the law of truth, which is the law of life and the sustaining of life that would have kept us from death. And look at people in their grief. And just, I've thought many times, what if that was really all to it? Is that one man or one person had to die to cause everybody else to be not have to? Well, that would be a wonderful thing. Then I wouldn't mind dying if that's going to make everybody live. I remember this song. I started a joke that started the whole world to laughing. And I just couldn't see that they was laughing at me. Huh? Said I finally died, which started the whole world living. If it was that simple, then it would have been done, like people say, well, Jesus died and we all could live. Well, if that was true, then why are people still dying? And don't tell me it's because people didn't believe in Jesus. Well, my mother believed in Jesus. I bet you can name a lot of people that you know of that believed in Jesus, and they dead now. Which makes a lie out of what you were saying, that whosoever believe in him shall not die, shall not perish, but have everlasting life. Now, you say, well, that was meaning spiritual. Yes, spiritual, but one day it was going to be natural too. I mean, let me pull your coat to something. Do you believe that Methuselah lived 965 years? The Bible say he did. Approximately 965. It's been so long since I read it, but what would he say about us who dying and ain't even made 100 years? He'd say, you never left babyhood. The child shall die 100 years old. Ain't that something? To all of you, it's those who are my true brothers and sisters who have lost family members, who have lost loved ones. I truly feel your loss. I wish it was something that I could have done to stop it. But I know one man that could have done something, and he didn't. He was the president of the United States at the time, and he did nothing. And now got a hell of a nerve walking around here talking about he may run again in 2024. As though we all stupid. I missed killing all of you the first time. I'm gonna come back and try to do it again in 24. Y'all vote me back in there. That's what it amounts to. Well, we might have been, as the old saying go, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Huh? Yeah. So I, I thought about the little sister that I knew personally. Her name was Paula. And she couldn't hardly, make up her mind about where she wanted to go with her life. But she always was trying to stay some kind of way associated with Islam. But she never could really make up her mind about which way she was going to go. But she was always so sweet in her disposition of how she conducted herself. With me, and I can't speak for other people, but I know whenever she spoke with me and had interaction with me, she was always kind and respectful. And, I know that growing up the way that we all grew up, independent thinking. In other words, we made up our own minds about what we gonna do, when we gonna do it, and it was drilled into us that we don't let somebody else tell us how to live our life. And that wasn't just in one among one people. If you grew up in America, that's basically the way you think. Nobody tell me what to do. I make up my own mind. Well, that is just the opposite of what Islam is. Islam is that we do like Jesus said, Father, not my will, but thy will be done. But that's hard for us to give up our own will. But anyway, I remember when she and I spoke, and she told me, she said, I'm afraid. And so I told her, just trust in Allah and let whatever Allah wills, let his will be done. And that's what I do. I felt so helpless to do anything else other than just advise her to take solace in the belief that Allah is mindful and aware. And I could hear her struggling to breathe while talking to me. And, I felt it. And even was, you can kind of, just every time I saw someone struggling to breathe, it made me feel winded myself. And I could just imagine how they were feeling. And it anyway, when she passed away, I wish that it was more that I could have done. But so I know that we don't always all agree on everything. But we should try to do as much good as we can for as many people as we can. Not so much as because we want to be seen or heard or want them to say thank you or whatever. But I've learned something. The more good we do for others and to others, it is true that the better we feel about ourselves. True peace does not come from how people feel about and treat you. True peace comes from how you feel about and treat others. When you can, it's just like me, I can honestly say that I'm not walking around here carrying hatred for anyone. I reserve all my hatred for the evil that I see, and for the evil that I see not only in others, but the evil that I see in me. Because I know that flesh is neither good nor evil. Flesh is like a house. A house is not a good house or an evil house until a good person or an evil person moves in. A human body is the same. We are not good and we are not evil. We come here empty, and then good and evil takes up residence in us. You see, and then we are tested by good and evil, much like an automobile when it comes off of the assembly line new. I should say when it's first made new. They don't mass produce it first. First thing they do is they design it, then bring it off the line and put it out there on the proving ground, on good road and bad road, and see how it holds up. Huh? So Allah made the devil, to test us. That was his job. The mind of evil, the mind of the natural mind. We got a chance to learn the natural universe and learn that I don't care how much natural knowledge you have, it ain't never going to bring you peace. This world has achieved so many great things. I mean, great things. They sent a man to walk on the moon and brought him back home. Now they sent a rover to Mars that's driving over Mars, sending pictures back here from Mars. That's great knowledge. And yet, with all that great knowledge, 530-something thousand Americans from the country who sent that rover out there, 500-some thousand people died, and half the country didn't give a damn. And I say half because almost half of the country, as usual, voted against Joe Biden. And, do you know what that says about us? The scripture says 5 were wise and 5 were foolish, and they all went forth to meet the bridegroom. And while the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept. Then around the middle of night, a cry was made. The bridegroom cometh, go ye out to meet him. The messenger said it like this: the Savior has arrived. Remember now, even the Jews, they leave a space for Elijah, because Elijah was the one to reveal who the Messiah is. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad came and told you that the Messiah is the one he was going to raise up. He said, this teaching will rise a powerful son of truth and the spirit of truth from this part of our planet among us, whom God have raised up. He did reveal me to you. And you know me by what you see me do. You've heard me ask white people. I talk about white people. Yet, you don't find no white people that think I hate them. Because if he say I hate him, I'd have to ask him a question. What in my deeds and actions have I done that tells you that I hate you? He couldn't name anything. So he'd just be quiet. If I hated him, I couldn't judge him. You couldn't trust my judgment. And black people, I don't know no black people that could honestly say that they think I hate them. No, I do not hate you. Nope. But I do hate evil. And for us to be walking around here talking about going back into business as usual and carrying on like some of these people that want to call themselves leaders. You call yourself a governor, and yet you refuse to govern. Government, a governor is put on a truck, a diesel truck, to restrict, to minimize, to regulate. Here you got governors deciding they don't want to restrict nobody from doing anything. Well, why don't you resign? Since you don't want to govern. I mean, it's not like the people don't hear what you hear. They heard the CDC saying that it's no time to let up. We need to keep wearing masks. Well, then why would you lift the mask order? Based on what? Only thing I can think of is that you just want more people to die. Needlessly. So, if some of you think that I'm saying something that is contrary to justice and righteousness, point it out. Anybody got their hand up? No. You know, Sister Paula's words still, ring in my ears, when she said, I'm afraid. The duty of government is not just to restrict and what you call regulate, but it is to restrict and regulate based on knowledge of what is in the best interest of those who are governed. You know, when you're a watchman, when you are on guard duty, you are in a tower, and you're given the starlight scopes or whatever is necessary. And when you sound the alarm, nobody tell you to stop sounding the alarm. They get up and they get ready. And even if there's somebody stupid enough to try to tell you to stop sounding the alarm, you tell them, you get the hell on out of my face here. I'm not going to sit up here and let these people get caught off guard because you don't want me to sound the alarm. There's no excuse for you to see the danger coming to your people and have forewarning. There is no excuse for Donald Trump and what he did. None. And all of those who knew and said nothing and did nothing, there is no excuse. The Attorney General of the United States should file charges against you for negligent homicide. He admitted he knew the danger of this virus and that it was 5 times more dangerous than the normal flu. He knew it. And the death toll is still rising. At the rate, the last I heard it now, it's done decreased from 3,000 to 2,000 a day. And I say to the scientific community, don't be trying to please everybody. Follow the facts and give advice based on the facts that you have. If people don't like it, well then you get it off of you. You get the blame off of you. Tell the people what your facts dictate. And if they don't want to hear it, well, that's them. Save as many lives as you can by speaking the truth. Let me share something with you. This is it's time that I share some more understanding with you of what's meant in the scriptures by certain statements that that we have mistakenly thought was statements of insult, or statements of that were not what you would call something that should be said to people. But I want you to you notice all of these people that come to me that don't believe in the Holy Scriptures. I have less and less patience with them. Huh? You notice I will tell people if you don't believe in the Holy Bible or the Holy Quran, it's nothing for you and I to discuss. Huh? And there's a reason for that. It's not because I'm being bigoted. It is because of what I was told not to do. You know, you notice they tell you. I remember I was looking at some what they call slop. You notice they call, when you go to feed swine, they call it slopping the hogs. Huh? You know why? Because you let that slop sit, you let that garbage sit until when you move it, you will hear it make a crackling noise. it's so raw, it's so rancid that you can't hardly stand the smell of it. Huh? Make you want to throw up. And that's just how the hog likes it. So there are some people who, if you're not giving them slop, lies, and you got people that leave their, some of them listening to me now, they'll leave their television set on Fox News all day. They'll turn to that channel where Rush Limbaugh used to be on. They listen to that all day. Or every time they come on, they don't want to hear nothing else but that. Lies and misrepresentations. Real news, they don't. How are you going to forbid people from sharing if you shared the truth and called it news? Well, anybody who wanted to replay it, you should have no problem with that. You don't have no what you call what is that? What is it called, brother? When they say a copyright. You don't have no copyright on news. Huh? You notice when we got ready to play something that was aired on Fox News, they threw up a copyright thing. You know why? Because that's not real news. MSNBC ain't said nothing about us replaying their news that they shared with us because they shared the truth with us. Huh? That's news. And it ain't fake. It ain't a show. CNN ain't never complained about us either. Because those are trusted news stations. They don't say the news is what we say it is. The news is what it is. Do you understand? But anyway, I want you to, in the 2 Timothy, this is 2 Timothy. It's time that you know some more acronyms that was put in here, hidden in here in plain sight, so that you don't, you and I don't stumble and think that there's some name calling going on here. No, ain't no name calling. It's just like I realized that what Donald Trump and them was saying about rhinos, it says Republicans in name only. Do you understand? Well, the Republicans in name only is Donald Trump now. The true Republicans been leaving that party. The rhinos are the Tea Party people masquerading as Republicans. You understand? What did that Marjorie Taylor Greene say? Didn't she say this is now the party of Trump? Isn't that what she said? She didn't say this is the Republican Party. It's the Trump Party. And many of the true Republicans and people who support Republican values, they know that what Donald Trump and them doing ain't no Republican values. It's just racism and bigotry. They almost got you to destroy your own government by making it appear that now you know what that them pledges was about that Grover Norquist and them had up there. They've been filling the Congress with people with an agenda that them people didn't even know the whole agenda. They were just being told what to do. They told you, you sign the pledge and do like we tell you. We'll give you the bills to present and everything. And, they just stupid enough to help overthrow their own government. He that troubleth his own house shall inherit the wind. I mean, when you start dismantling your own house, and somebody asks, what you doing, man? I'm tired of this whole house. I'm going to tear it down. And you say, well, where are you building? You building another one? No, they ain't building another one. So you're going to be sleeping outdoors pretty soon. Huh? He'll inherit what? Yes. But if you kill your own house, then your inheritance is the wind. You inherit something after something died, right? Well, you want to kill your democratic republic. The only thing you're going to inherit is the wind. And you got a windbag like nobody knows with that Donald Trump and them fools who follow him. Huh? Now, the Holy Quran says, their parable, let me show you, is that of, I got, I like to take you to where you can find things that apply and bear witness to what I'm telling you. Now, let me take you into Proverbs. I think that's Proverbs, where it says, well, one of y'all find it for me. He that troubleth his own house shall inherit the wind. Just put in there, inherit the wind, and see what you come up with. Chapter 11 of Proverbs. And because I don't want you to think I'm making up nothing. And chapter 11 and what verse? And go to the 29th verse. Well, let's go to the 28th verse first, because Solomon, he you could tell that he's speaking from observation, from what he has observed in life. In the 28th verse, it says, he that trusteth in his riches shall fall. Huh? But the righteous shall flourish as a branch. Why? Because if you are righteous, then you are a branch of the tree of life. And the tree of life is the messengers of God. And if you live your life according to what they taught, then you will flourish as a branch of the tree of life. Do you understand? Okay. And it says, he that troubleth his own house shall inherit the wind, and the fool shall be servant to the wise of heart. Huh? There you go. So, you trouble your own house, and you inherit the wind. That almost happened. I mean, let's go for a minute. Just think if what Donald Trump and all of his supporters claiming they want to make America great again. Well, now that's what America needs. After he got through, because he made America not just a laughingstock, but what you call a shame in the sight of the whole world. They could not believe that America had fallen to this. Now, Joe Biden have to get up and say America is back. Not yet, but she's trying. He's trying. And without a team effort, ain't gonna happen, Captain. That's why I said I'm gonna do all I can to help the president, Joe Biden. I still got the flags that have masks because he said he wanted to hold them there, and I didn't know if they, but it's not a burden to me. Matter of fact, I appreciate the fact that the President of the United States recognized that all of these deaths of so many American citizens require lowering the flag to half mast because of the seriousness and the debilitation, if I can use that word, the debilitating loss of so many American citizens due to the negligence of a man that was in the highest office of the land, who just refused to care about the deaths of those who he had sworn an oath to protect and defend. Because when you take an oath to protect and defend the Constitution, you are actually taking an oath to protect and defend the United States people, who that Constitution represents. And it don't just represent some of them. It represents every American citizen and everyone who comes into this country. That Constitution immediately applies to them. Now, when I say something that's not true, raise your hand. And if you know it's true, then you know that he's guilty, along with many in the Senate and many in the House of Representatives. So now let's go to the Holy Quran. You know where to find it in the Bible. In the Holy Quran, it says, this is in the 16th chapter of the Holy Quran. Chapter 16, and I'm gonna start at the 90th verse. It says, revelation enjoins good. Revelation from God enjoins us to do good things. That does away with talking about some holy war. and saying you got to pick up guns and bullets at each other and kill people. And that's ain't nothing good about murder. The holy war, as I told you, is the war that you fight inside of your brain. Your good thoughts versus your evil thoughts. That's the holy war. Surely Allah enjoins justice and the doing of good to others. As that men do unto you, what? Do ye also unto them. And it's not one of us that desires that people do evil to us. I didn't hear you. Surely Allah enjoins justice and the doing of good to others and the giving to the kindred, and he forbids indecency and evil and rebellion. You know what the meaning of Islam is? Submission. I mean, son of man, you go, get thee to the house of Israel and speak with my words unto them, whether they hear you or whether they forbear, for they are most rebellious. Huh? The most rebellious people on earth is right here in the United States. So it says, he admonishes you that you may be mindful and fulfill the covenant of Allah. Mean obey what's in the Holy Scripture when you have made a covenant, and break not the oaths after making them, and you have indeed made Allah your surety. Surely Allah knows what you do. And be not like her who unravels, disintegrating it into pieces and it strongly. What is it? Be not like those who, after they made their government, they had the model for democratic republics. The model for it is right here in the United States. Everybody was marveling over the great American experiment. And look what they did in the eyes of the whole world. They began to unravel. They began to disintegrate the democratic republic to give way to an autocracy, to a tyrant, to a dictator, when their government came into being resisting a dictator. Huh? Ain't that something? Be not like her who unravels her yarn, disintegrating it into pieces after she had spun it strongly. You make your oaths to be means of deceit between you. That oath of office they took? You remember they took an oath that they would hear the evidence, the whole Senate raised their hand, and you know they didn't do it one by one. They did it all as a group, right? You know how a lot of them justified not doing it. They didn't say they raised their hand, but they didn't say I do. Do you understand? You can't. Do you understand? On trial in that oath, if you put them on trial and say, you swore to tell the truth, they say, well, no, I didn't say I was going to abide. Actually, I said I wouldn't. Huh? So you got to get them one by one. That's why the book says we must all appear before the judgment seat of Christ. that everyone may have done in his body according to what he has done. No, you come before me one by one. You don't realize that yet, but yeah, that's what's happening. You see? So, you make your oaths to be means of deceit between you, because one nation is more numerous than another nation. Allah only tries you by this, and he will certainly make clear to you on the day of resurrection that wherein you had differences of opinion. You see how I'm making clear the Holy Scriptures now? People used to say, well, don't nobody really understand the Bible or the Holy Quran, and so you got your understanding, I got mine. You notice they can't say that no more. Am I making clear to them? We've only just begun to live day of resurrection. And we are all beginning to live now. It says that everyone, it said, they that have done good to the resurrection of everlasting life, they that have done evil to the resurrection of damnation. Oh yeah. Everybody gonna live now. Everybody gonna understand. Now let's get back over here. In 2 Timothy, remember I told you to go to 2 Timothy? Now look what it says here. It's time to learn the meaning of names. It says, this know also. This I want you to understand also, that in the last days, in the Sabbath days, remember Jesus said that the time will come when you shall desire to see one of the days of the Sabbath, and you shall not see them. Huh? Jesus knew that the Sabbath day was 2,000 years away. But now, the Son of Man is standing here talking to you. And remember now, it's written, behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Son of Man, the Lord of the Sabbath day. Huh? The messenger told you, he said, ain't nobody coming behind me but God. I better tell you that. So, look, don't be texting me during the meeting. And I'm not interested in you worrying about money. That's your problem now. And you're supposed to be listening, you thinking about money. Money can't save you. Anyway, let's get on back over here. I'm going to block you when you do that again. I'm going to block you from ever even texting me anymore or calling me. Oh, crazy people. It says, know also that in the last days, perilous times shall come. Look at you. In the middle of a pandemic that's done took over 530,000 lives. And you too trifling to put a mask on, so that even if you may not be suffering from it, you may be transmitting it to other people, and that mask will prevent you from harming others. And you refuse to do it. Is this not a perilous time? Huh? For men shall be lovers of their own selves. In other words, they shall be selfish. They don't care nothing about nobody else, only they self. Me. Covetous. Envious of others and what other people, desiring other people's property. covetous, boasters, disobedient to their parents, unthankful and unholy. You notice it ain't hard to recognize unholy people. All you have to do is just listen to them. Man, talking about he evangelical, and asked the man, have you ever asked God for forgiveness? The man, and that interview kept on going. Huh? I mean, you come to me running for office and you tell me you ain't never felt the need to ask God for forgiveness. You ain't got to worry about me voting for you. I'm going to tell you right there. No, you don't get my vote, man. You can go. This interview over. Huh? It says, without natural affection. That's why Donald Trump and people up there in the Senate that just done, the rhinos up there in the Senate, Tea Party people and all them racist, bigoted dogs up there, don't care nothing about you and the loss of your loved ones. Because they don't have no natural affection for their own families. Huh? The love of money done moved all that out. You hear what I said? Once the love of money take root in you, it don't leave room for nobody else. It chokes the natural love that you should have had for your family, that makes you understand and relate to other people's love for their family. So the love of money done choked all that out. So they ain't got no natural affection. They truce breakers. The first thing that Donald Trump did when he got in office, one of the first agreement that America had with Iran. Huh? He just walked away from it. He started walking away from all of the nuclear proliferation and all that. He started walking away from all that, breaking all the agreements. Truce breakers, false accusers, lock her up, lock her up. Lock her up for what? What did Hillary Clinton do that she should have been locked up for? When the FBI did the investigation on her, they didn't find nothing justifying locking her up. False accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good. You know, they was debating on whether or not that they could right? Traitors. Was he a traitor? And what about a lot of them in the Senate and in the House? Bunch of traitors up there, huh? They showed a picture of Michael Flynn and a group of them sitting over there having dinner with Putin. You remember that? Traitors. Heady. Can't tell them nothing. High-minded. Lovers of pleasures more than lovers of God. When you find that a man loves compliments, a man loves to be wined and dined, well, he loves pleasure. And you can rule him just by giving him stuff. You understand? It says, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. The power of godliness is the knowledge of godliness. And I'm standing up here sharing that with them, and they deny this. Huh? Don't want it. From such, it says, from such people, turn away. Don't go after them people. Don't deal with them people. What's the first rule in dealing with the devil? Don't turn away from them. For of this sort are they which creep into houses and lead captive silly women, like that old Marjorie Taylor Greene, laden with sins, led away with different desires, different lusts, ever learning and never able to come to the knowledge of the truth. You all give me a minute here. I want you to understand what's being said here. We ain't making it up. We building it up. Just give me a minute. I want to I want you to go back to that third verse. So this is what I really brought you over here for. It says, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good. Okay? Now, I want you to go to Acts. I got to walk you through this, the 13th chapter. Acts, the 13th chapter, and let's go to the 41st verse. Well, let's go the 38th verse. This is let's go to the 36th verse. It says, for David, after he had served his own generation by the will of God, fell on sleep and was laid unto his fathers, saw corruption. It says, there's none righteous, no, not one. So now you understand why Jesus, when they called him good, he said, why are you calling me good? There's none good but one, and that is who? Okay. He said, but he whom God raised again saw no corruption. Who will lay anything? Ain't that what he asked? What is the corruption you found in me? But when I alive, where's the corruption you found in me? Okay. It says, be it known unto you, therefore, men and brethren, that through this man is preached unto you the forgiveness of sins. The Son of Man have power on earth to do what? And what did the messenger tell you? He said, he don't hold you responsible, don't blame you for nothing that went before. He forgive all that and tell you, let's go from here. Ain't that what I did? Some of y'all got mad because I forgave you and you didn't want me to forgive white people. Well, I mean, everybody done sinned. All of you was wrong. You was doing a lot of the things that white people was doing. Matter of fact, you tried to beat them at some of it. So how is it justice when you say, well, he made us like this? Well, we made him like that. Okay. So it says, and by him, all that believe are justified from all which ye could not be justified by the law of Moses. By the law of Moses, y'all. You see how I justified you? That what you did as a slave, that's what white folks put in you. They taught you that. They made you like this. And what they did as devils, we made them like that. So, I give you a clean slate. The only thing you're going to be held accountable for is how you acted when I spoke to you. So it says, beware therefore, lest that come upon you, which is spoken of in the prophets. What come upon you, which was in the prophets? It says, behold, you despisers and wonder. Behold, you despisers and wonder and perish. For I work a work in your days, a work which you will in no wise believe, though a man declare it unto you. You see me doing something right now. Works I'm doing, they can't believe I did it. Physically and doing things that you ain't never seen a man that was leading do. So this is, it says, behold, despisers. Who are these despisers? And you know what it is. Without natural affection, truth breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good. Huh? Behold, you despisers of those that are good. I didn't hear you. Getting clear, ain't it? It's finna get even clearer. Now, Prophet Muhammad said this. He said, what is the meaning of the word despise? What's another word for despise? Resent. What else? Hatred. And what's another word for hatred? You see, we gave them, give it to us. And just like people say, well, you know, Arabic is our original language. All languages is the original language of the black man. These people didn't invent no language. They got their, we made them. Let one of them unmute the phone and tell me I'm lying. I mean, you speak English because your daddy and your mama spoke English. Is that right? Well, then, don't say you made up the language yourself. You didn't. You got it from your parents. And since we are everyone's parents, then where did everyone get their language from? They got it from us, didn't they? All right. Now, let's go back to this. Another word for Despise is hatred. Another word for hate is dislike. Strong dislike. Huh? Now, what is hate? That's a stronger word for dislike. Despise, a stronger word for hate. Huh? Yes, but it's all saying the same thing. Is that right? Okay. Fierce despisers of those that are good. Now let's go back to Matthew. See, I likes to remember now. The book says, "I will have you know that the head of every man is what? Is Christ," right? Where's that at? Is that 2 Corinthians, the 5th chapter, somewhere around there? Where's that, brother? I like to, I like people to know the truth. Huh? 1 Corinthians, the 11th chapter, and the 3rd verse. It says, "But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Christ is who? Is who? Is God." So let's go over here to Matthew. As it says, fierce despisers of those that are good. Ain't that what Timothy said? Okay, let's see here. In the 19th chapter and the 16th verse of Matthew, it says, "And behold, one came and said unto him, Good." What is the master of your body? Beg your pardon? Yeah, but there was another word for the mind. See, think of things. The master of the body is the head. I didn't hear you. All right. Now we know that if your physical head is the master of your physical body, then the head of the head is the mind. But we still recognize the mind as the head. Is that right? Okay. "And behold, one came and said unto him, Good master, what good thing shall I do that I may have eternal life?" And the 17th verse said, "And Jesus said unto him, Callest thou me good? There is none good but one, and that is who? That is God. But if thou wilt enter into life, keep the commandments." Jesus understood that his head was the good one. Didn't hear you? All right. Now, so if you're a fierce despiser that are good, when their goodness is not theirs, it's God's goodness that he gave them. And as long as they represented him, then they were good, but not of themselves. It is he that hath made us what we are, and not we ourselves. Huh? Okay. So if you are despisers of those that are good, he called them gods. He called them good, whom the good word came to. Huh? Yeah. He said, "I have said ye are gods. I have said ye are good. But all of you are the children of the Most High, the most knowledgeable one. But you shall die like other men who commit sin." Huh? That's what is written. So, if you're a fierce despiser of good, you are a despiser of God. D-O-G. Dog. And let me show you. Allah is so wise that, as Prophet Muhammad said, if you dislike on the day of resurrection, if you dislike the meeting with Allah, Allah dislikes the meeting with you. If you are a despiser of God, then you are despised of God. Dog. And give not that which is holy unto the despisers of God. I know. Now you know what dog is, huh? On the outside are dogs. That's no coincidence that we made a creature that people mistakenly think that we are calling people that, when in actuality that is an example of these people. If you tell me something, can you claim that? How many of you can claim that you know God? No. If you understood God, if you knew God, you wouldn't have needed nobody to come and guide you into the understanding of his word. Okay, so God is a stranger to you. I didn't hear you. I was a stranger, and now you are taking me in. Some of you. Is that right? Okay, but how do dogs treat strangers? Dogs are territorial creatures, aren't they? And when a stranger come up, they're not used to his smell. They're not used to him. They get huffy. They get belligerent, don't they? How these people treated every prophet that came to them. Remember, I asked them, name one prophet that you accepted. Prophet Muhammad said the worst day of his life was when children were throwing stones at him while he was being ran out of Mecca. Even the children were throwing stones at him. Doing like their parents did. You remember, children used to be out there watching a black man get lynched and cheering it on. Come on now. What's wrong? You don't want to bear me witness? History already bore me witness. You don't even understand the word history. It's two words. His story. Your story. How many times have you asked somebody, hey man, what's your story? What you mean? What you been doing? See, you're writing your history every day. The unjust actions that you take against people who you take them against, you writing your history. And you being judged by your history. This is our record that speaks against you. Surely we wrote what you did. Oh yeah. Yes, sir. We wrote it before you did it. We saw you. We knew what that wicked mind was going to lead you to. I even offered to forgive you for what you did, if you would change. And you so arrogant that you think that you could do to me, the Lord of the prophets, what you did to them. I'm going to fix you. You mark my words. I'm going to fix every one of you. Anyway, right now, for all this, the book says his anger is not turned away, but his hand is stretched out still. Why? Because Allah told me to stretch my hand out and warn you and try to get you to change. So that's what I'm doing. So now you know DOG is an acronym for Despisers of God. And it's also despised of God, of meaning by. When you are a despiser of God, you are despised by God. Why is that? When you hate the truth, you are hated by the best knower of the truth. Now you understand? Yeah. Now, I, Allah, am the best knower of the truth. Just goes together. I and my Father are one. You notice, sperm and ovum are two that become one. Truth and flesh are one. The mind and the flesh that houses it become one. Didn't hear you? And no man knows the Father but the Son, and he to whom the Son will reveal him. And no man knows who the Son is but the Father, and he ain't gonna tell. The Father don't talk to nobody but the Son. The Son do all the talking. So I don't care how mad you get. You get mad all you want. This ain't gonna help you. So Brother Mike, how do I get rid of this? Come up here. I accidentally. Escape. Huh? Escape. Escape? It ain't escaping. Oh. Huh?
Hit the start button. It's the second thing. The little thing with the flags right there. Oh, you talking about get rid of that?
Yeah.
You can see it highlighted like that. That's what that is right there.
Okay. Very good.
Yes. Right click and hit this.
All right. So now you understand that the Holy Scriptures is full of acronyms. Huh? Hiding in what? Plain sight. And I took you and showed you the definition. Despisers of God. Huh? Despised of God too. You know, you just don't know. You hate your Creator. Your Creator hates you then. Allah ain't created nothing to come out here hating him. Dismantle you. You thought you had some kind of win against us? You ain't got no win against me. You are a dead loser. Your mind already been taken from you. You should have accepted my offer. I offered you salvation. And what did you offer me? Insults. Okay. I'll see you again. And everybody else will too. So, anybody got something they wanted to say? So I want to say that we are not going to forget who's responsible for the deaths of so many of American citizens. No, we ain't gonna forget. No, we're not, because that's an insult to their memory. And I'm thankful that the MSNBC have shown that they have a heart, that there's someone who cares. It's as I think back over Barry Guardian, what he accomplished with Motown Records. And he brought together, with the help of Allah, he brought together so many talented ones of our people. And I remember the first time I heard this this song by Smokey Robinson, was in the movie. I don't know if he wrote it specifically for that movie, but it is a timeless song. Melvin of the Temptations, the bass singer Melvin, passed away, and and they played, this song, and they even had Smokey singing it on there. And as you listen to the words of it, it expresses things. It's like a card or whatnot that you get sometimes that says just what needs to be said. Those cards that people get for sympathy or for birthdays or for special occasions. This song by Smokey Robinson, it is one of those type of songs. Really gonna miss you. Things are gonna be different without you. Yes, they are. Time's gonna be hard and slow for the rest of my life. Gonna be thinking about you. Yes, I am. The time came when you had to go. I miss you, my brother. I miss you, my friend. And I promise my love for you will never end. In your finest hour, I was right there with you. And without you, things won't be the same. But there's a higher caller that we all answer to. And you heard him call your name. Everything about you, your smiling face. I know you want us all to be strong. I miss you when you're gone to that magic place that we all came from. So we're singing you this brand new song. I miss you, my brothers, sisters. I miss you, my child. I promise my love for you will never die. I miss you, my brother and sister. I miss you, dear friend, child and grandmother. I promise my love for you will never end. Really gonna miss you. That song is very, very, you could substitute any of your loved ones for that, whether it's grandmother, whether it's child, we miss them, we miss their presence. Sometimes I'm reunited with my with my mother and my father in dreams. I dream of, like when I was younger, that something happened, and it's like a little visit that we have with each other. And it's one thing I wish my daddy would have seen some of my children. I know he loved children. He used to Look at him. He seemed like a different man when he was dealing with his grandchildren. He was rough on us. They could come up there and hit him all on the head and just climb all over him and do things that he would never let us do. But I saw a side of him when my brothers, he saw some of his grandchildren with some of my older brothers and sisters. And I used to marvel over how different he was with those grandbabies. And so, and I could relate to what the president was saying when he was talking about how empty you feel when you lose someone that you loved. But a time comes when instead of sadness, when you think about them, something happens in life, and the thought will come to you, well, boy, if Daddy saw this boy, he'd do such and so and such and so. Or something will happen and make you think about his reaction to it when it happened when he was here, or your mother, or your loved one. And it makes you smile. And you start realizing that the true person, even though they are absent from that body that they were in, they're not really gone if you still remembering them. They're present with you in the most intimate way. And that's good. And don't ever go to someone and when they are just in the middle of grief and tell them to move on. It's a way to tell people to move on without seeming calloused. It's just like me. I remind people all the time, not in this pandemic. In this pandemic, it reminds you of that song that I think Michael Jackson made, it Gone Too Soon. Those people didn't have to be gone if it was not for a negligent president and a negligent Congress. And I want you to remember something. The only way they could get you to tear up listen to me, white people. The only is they had to make you think that the government is failing you. And in order to do that, whenever even you had the Democrats who actually were trying to do something for the country, they were stalemated by the Republican Senate that blocked and wouldn't bring nothing to a vote and just made it look like your government didn't care about you. I think that you are waking up now to realize that in order for that to work, they had to take over both the Democrat and the Republican Party. One party taking over one party don't get it. They had to take over both and then tell their people do nothing until the American people decided that their government don't work. Then they will overthrow it themselves. And then you won't have to worry about no Democratic Republic no more. And we can go back to dictatorships. Do you understand? But Allah seemed to have other plans. Because now you are starting to see that It is not your government that is broken. It is that you have traitors that have wiggled their way up into government and tricked you into voting them into office, that were put in there to make it appear to you that you have a government that does not work. So wake up and recognize that this hasn't been the case always. There was a time when everyone really thought that it didn't make any difference who was in the House of Representatives and the Senate, because they worked so well together that you didn't understand that the majority and minority parties, the minority party really didn't have no say so, except what the majority recognized and cooperated with them on. But it used to work out because at least all of them realized that they were Americans, that they were citizens of the United States, not the divided states, the United States. But you have fallen from that. And as with anyone who has a heart, I didn't like to see the Nation of Islam, the said Nation of Islam, take a fall. I didn't like that. Then why should I rejoice over seeing another nation take a fall instead of being able to work through whatever problems they have and hold on to the good and discard the bad? So I'm not a person who likes to go around kicking somebody that's down. I never believed in that from the time I was growing up. I saw people get in fights and knock the other person down and then go over there and stomp them and kick them. I couldn't do that. And I frowned on people who did it. I mean, most of the time after we got through fighting, some of the people that I got in a fight with, most of the people I got in a fight with, we became good friends. After that, once they realized that they couldn't run over me or I couldn't run over them, we just became friends. We shook hands, never fought again. The only ones I kept getting in recurring fights with was the brother that I grew up with, and I don't think either one of us was trying to really hurt the other one. We just get mad at each other and start fighting, but we was pulling our punches. And Rudy, me and Rudy, we grew up together, and even though some of the fellas that we ran around with was doing things that they didn't have no business getting high and all that kind of stuff. When they go to pass it to me, Rudy would say, Marv ain't into that, man. And I appreciated him for that. I didn't have to explain myself. Rudy would always say, hey, no, man, Marv ain't gonna do that. And so that was, I will always remember him and Lawrence and Lewis. Those brothers, I remember so many who were really Edward. I remember Edward. He was always a good friend to me. We never really had any words with each other. We were always, just friends. Even to this day, sometimes he beat me to it. On Father's Day or something like that, he'll text me and wish me a happy Father's Day and that kind of thing. But then I think about Willie and Bertha and Eartha and all of the people that I knew when and who always were kind to me. Brothers and sisters, don't ever forget people who showed you kindness. That is Allah's way of showing you that He has watched over you. Not watching over us. It's just that we ignored it. How many times did someone show you kindness and you never gave it a second thought, and you did not befriend that person who tried to befriend you? So, it's late. I'm not going to go over tonight. I'm going to let it rest right there. But to all of you who have lost loved ones, our hearts and our prayers are for your comfort. And may the loss of so many of the fellow citizens make us all stop and think and learn to appreciate each other more and recognize that we truly are all in this together. And if we don't work together to get out of it, there's an old saying, we wonder for whom the bell tolls. The next time it may toll for thee. Let's follow the instructions of the professional scientific community, not the governors. Listen to the scientists. Listen to the doctors who have to take care of us when we get sick. Listen to them. For if Allah blessed them with the knowledge to see something that's so small that 100 million of them could be on the head of a pin and you still wouldn't see them. But Allah blessed those scientists to see it and show us a picture of what it looks like. What you don't see can hurt you. Ain't you glad somebody saw it and gave us a warning? We can, if we should thank them again and again and again. And I thank Allah for them. So, may Allah bless us all and keep us safe and in our right minds, and grant to each and every one of us who are hungry and thirsty for His righteousness a peaceful and pleasant night's rest and sleep, and a happy, peaceful, and pleasant morning's rise. May Allah's Salaam Alaikum.